Hi, I'm Ruth Knight from the Australian Centre for Philanthropy and Non-Profit Studies. I'll talk to you about measuring impact, if you like, later. Actually, my question might be to you or to Nadia around the power and influence of social media. So that's a whole new dynamic over the last few years. Obviously, your benevolence or non-benevolence is very public very quickly because of social media. So has social media made you think about trust more and how you deal with things, because it can be, even our phones have got videos, we can video everything very quickly in real time. Yeah, I'm just interested in how you deal with the whole social media thing.
I'll speak and then Nat's happy for you to jump in. To give you an idea, our team moderates and looks at 3,000 posts a month as a minimum. And they're constantly looking at, is it positive engagement? What's the sentiment? Does someone have an issue? Do we need to take that online and have a one-on-one conversation? So you're absolutely right. I think in this whole world where everything is very public, it's how do you use that transparency in that channel? How do you use the court of public opinion? And last year, for those who maybe don't know, we had the biggest regulatory breach in our history at RACQ. And it was shocking for the people inside the company. It was heartfelt that we discovered a problem in our PDS. On page 100 of 107 pages, there were 2 sentences that were not adequately describing how the premium was priced on optional extras on windscreens. And it didn't mean we didn't charge you properly, it meant that we didn't articulate it right. And that cost us $200 million. Heartbreaking. Now those refunds will start to flow out to our members, and the way that we managed it, once we got over and recovered, was to be really open and transparent. In fact, we invited the AFR, the Courier Mail, one-on-one, sit across the CEO and disclose everything. And so transparency, I think, in that honesty and authenticity still has to show up, even though eyes are all over you, would be my comment.
Paul Bolt from QUT. Question for Brian, if you wouldn't mind. I'm interested we've been talking about the customer as the end user and building trust for the customer. How does an organisation like yours, that's multi-brand but also relies on suppliers, is the supplier part of the trust conversation at this point yet?
Great question. Interestingly, I've got a project running at the moment that goes live in 6 weeks, and it's called Accurate Delivery Promise. As in, we need to stop giving vague statements of when you're going to get your online delivery and say to you confidently you're going to get it in 2 days, and you get it in 2 days, as opposed to it'll be about a week. So that then holds a massive responsibility in relationship with the people that do the last mile, predominantly AusPost, to actually holding them to account, and it's a shared promise. So there's a lot of exchange of data with that. There's a lot of people holding each other to account, because sometimes we don't actually pick it and pack it and get it ready for AusPost to deliver. So actually, where in that chain are we winning? Where are we failing? What are the implications? We've got an awful lot of data that gets scrutinised around that. At a store level, those stores are too slow. We're going to stop sending them online orders. We're going to send them over here because this store does it really well. And the store gets the sale for online sales. So actually, do you know what? You need to be a bit more incentivised to show up when we allocate those orders to you and so forth. So it's a partnership model, 100%. We don't own the customer experience completely end to end, but they look to us to own it, and we have to.
I'm Wei Xiang from La Trobe University. I'm the Cisco Chair of AI and Internet of Things. This is a very interesting topic, and benevolence analysis. So members talk about the so-called cost and the benefit analysis, and I think there are 2 ways we can do it: qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis. I'm not an expert at qualitative, but from the quantitative analysis point of view, I wonder if we can using precise a large amount of data, and then using machine learning or deep learning to actually review how much we're actually paying for this and how much the benefit we're getting out of it. I wonder if that is possible. Thank you very much. At this stage, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go first and then we'll... so just following the thread of accurate delivery promise. Christmas, online orders. Like we have a big debate every year, when are we going to cut off of online orders and we're going to get it to you before Christmas? So again, big partnership conversations. The sales guys want to cut off as late as possible to get the sales. The operations guys are going, oh, we probably need to bring that forward, da, da, da. So there's a big debate there. As soon as we cut that off, that's when we get into analysing the data. Best will in the world, we will not deliver 100% of the thousands of orders that have been placed for Christmas Day. So we actively monitor that, we're pushing it all through the system. So we use then the data analysis to say, okay, what customers are we going to miss? How can we identify it early enough? How can we contact them, have a personal conversation, send them a gift voucher so they have something to give on Christmas Day? They still get obviously what's coming, so we use data as an example of that. And we then, again, use it to analyse it and going, where are we failing, what parts, what regions, etc., to then continue to optimise the promise that we give to our customers. So one very explicit answer. And we then look at which customers got that, how many have been redeemed, have we lost them, or are they retained? We have some exceptional examples where store managers recognise that actually I failed, and they drive the product to the customer, knock on their door and go, oh, here you go. Like, that's the exception. We don't expect that because it's Christmas Eve, and they've been working incredibly hard. But yeah, that's how we use data as a micro example.
Hi, I'm Dian from Griffith University. Thanks for all the talks so far. It's been very interesting because from the perspective of the company to build trust to the customers, it's very critical. Have you thought about how then it goes the other way around, meaning that do you see the risk or anything that can happen from the side of, let's say, the customer could be actually misusing it or abusing the trust that has been, the benevolent initiatives by misusing it and abusing it to get like saving that they're not meant to get, for example. So do you see that as an issue, or is it more about that part of the parcel around the trustworthiness of both ways? Thank you.
I definitely had my mobility scooter customer call me way too many times. Listen, I think it is two ways, and at the moment I don't think listen, insurance is an interesting minefield. There is people who want to take advantage of insurance, for sure, and we're always looking out, for fraud within the system and process. But on, again, the most part, I think there is an understanding that if we take insurance, for example, it is a social safety net. And there is some understanding that young drivers, if I only priced the risk of young drivers or old drivers, they would never afford insurance. So we do take some, pooling of that risk. So I think there's a little bit of give and take. I think there is risk. I think, for RACQ, we often would err on behalf of the member because that's our DNA to do that. But I think we are very mindful that whenever we don't have our radar up, say for cybercrime, fraudsters and financial loans, whatever, and we've had some of that, that comes at the cost of our members. So we've actually got to make sure that we're not so loose that we give value away, because that comes at the expense of us being able to have more profits in the organization to do more good. So our systems, our processes, our systems, our reporting, and being a regulated entity of both banking and insurance, it's pretty tight. But you're right, there is risk there, for sure.
I'm Tash from Making Work Absolute Human. And my question is around authenticity. So what do you see as the role of authenticity in benevolence or trust in particular?
For me, it's everything.
Great answer.
I would echo that. You get found out, and tying back to the social piece, if you're not authentic, then it gets found out very quickly. Which is actually, I made a note of your commentary, and this is probably not the place to give the feedback, but the concept of artificial benevolence doesn't sit. I get why you're calling it that, but actually there's a real danger, to your point of authenticity, the artificial component, no, get rid of that language, because it has to be real, it has to be in the DNA. So yeah, otherwise it doesn't resonate. People aren't stupid, they see through it. It's like the greenwashing, sport washing, people aren't stupid.
Technology in the technology sector, you get found out pretty quickly in terms of, you're committing to delivering certain outcomes with your technology, and that whole reputation that's at stake. So, as we know, it's moving pretty quickly, but I think that's really what it comes down to. So, I don't think you can really hide behind that as a technology company.
Welcome, Terry, on stage.
Thanks, Nadine. I get the honour tonight to just pass on a vote of thanks. And first of all, just on behalf of everybody here, I just want to thank Michael and Nadine, the panel, for your insight, and also for all of you for your involvement in the questions. And I will start, Amanda. First of all, thank you for the warm welcome and the promotion. But I do really appreciate your continued support for Innovation Central and research like we've heard about tonight. So thank you, MJ. Your the yellow truck feeling, and I love that, and where the future of RACQ goes with that as its sort of thought process, I think is a great thing. So thank you for your insight and sharing that. And a month later we caught up and he said, Terry, I believe we need to write a white paper on the Benevolent Enterprise. And again I went, yes, Michael, I believe you are right. And
Terry, we appreciate your friendship, your ongoing support, and that you truly believed in us talking about belief systems. Thank you so much.